This is the SPORTWRAP Saturday studio, and what a game that was in the NRU Premier League. Western Suburbs versus Rio Falcon. It came down to the wire, 29-27. Does not get any closer than that. One kick for Rio Falcon would have been able to do it. In fact, any way that you can score in rugby would have allowed them to at least tie or win that game, but that is not how it worked out. 2-point deficit was the end of that game, and we'll check out more of the highlights when we get into the wrap-up show. For now, we're going to take a quick break before we start talking about what's happening locally in the world of sport.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
Now, Namibian cycling sensation who does not stop making us proud, Ferrer Lusa, took first position in the Hero Sudi Troll Dolomites mountain bike race, which was in the north of Italy last weekend. In 2 weeks' time, the 30-year-old Lusa will take on her UCI World Cup marathon bike race at Magève in Haute-Savoie, France. Now, this is the race where the Namibian announced herself with the first World Cup marathon win this year. Since then, and the end of May, Lusa added her second UCI World Cup title at Nove Mesto na Morave in Czech Republic. So here she is in her own words after the victory last weekend in Italy.
Thank you. It was actually in Italy, in Südtirol. It's part of Italy, the northern part of Italy. Yeah, they say it is the hardest mountain bike race in the world, but a lot of races say that, to be honest. But it is quite brutal. There are 3 distances. The elite men do the 86 kilometers with 4,600 meters of climbing or something, and then there's a middle distance, and we do the shorter distance, which is 60 kilometers with 3,200 meters of climbing. It is really, really super steep. The climb, there are 4 major climbs, and yeah, I mean, it's steep. The last climb was I think 3.7 kilometers with altitude gain of over 500 meters. I had the fastest time up there from all the women, and I averaged 5.5 kilometers per hour. So yeah, maybe that shows how super steep it is. It was a good race. There was some good competition there, some good climbers that are super lightweight, but I had a really good day, and yeah, I could keep with them on the climbs, and I'm really strong on the downhills. That's also where I could make a gap on the on the third downhill, and then the last climb I was on my own, and I just rode what I had in me, and then the downhill to the finish I could still make some time good. And at the end, yeah, it was quite a big gap to the second goal, although I was riding with her quite long, and she's a super strong rider. So yeah, that's basically about that race. They make a big show out of it. It was quite cool that they gave me a Namibian flag to finish with, and played the Namibian hymn at the prize giving. Was quite special. Yeah, in 2 weeks I'm racing the next World Cup in Magève. It's in France. It's going to be another brutal race with 100 kilometers and 5,000 meters of climbing. So yeah, that will be next for me. Thank you. Cheers.
Congratulations to Ferrer, and we certainly expect you to keep making us proud and yourself proud as well. Now, let's talk about football, and not necessarily the sport, but where it's played. In Namibia, this has been a huge subject, the lack of stadiums. And the next 2 stories are going to essentially focus on that, because there are some positive outcomes, 2 particular positive outcomes, which have come out with regards to that. First of them is Dion Hotto, Namibian football legend, need not be mentioned more than once. Orlando Pirates, Brave Warriors, can't get it wrong, played internationally, South Africa, Europe, you name it, he's got it. And he's decided to give back to the community with him and his family. family pledging 2 million Namibian dollars towards the building of a new stadium. Now, Swakopmund Councillor Klaus Goldberg confirmed that a resolution on the provision of the 2 plots of land for the envisioned Dion Hoto 10,000-seater stadium in Mondesa, this is in the hood in Swakopmund, was submitted and is pending to be signed off, while Tim Makanjo stepped in with the pledge of $100,000. Deputy Minister of Sport Emma Kantema Khaumas, Hoto's agent Machini Matlong, Colin Benjamin, former world champion, sprinter Frankie Fredericks, former Brave Warriors coach Ricardo Manetti, and Alton Katangolo all paid tribute to Hoto as he took on this new endeavor. This is how that went.
All right. What I'm actually pledging in the foundation, it's something that's coming from me, my wife, my dad, my mother, my family. The amount that we are putting in, it's 2 million. Right? It wasn't easy for me to put in the 2 million, but I had to because I feel I had a vision starting when I started the foundation launch. So with Godspeed, I know that it will materialize. And yeah, I thank you.
Dear Moto, what you've done today, you've demonstrated that work does not only start and end on the field. Your contribution to the country does not start and stop on the field, but it starts right from the community where you hail from. And this for me is really an example worth emulating, and I'm encouraging the other athletes to follow in the footsteps.
So we have these 2 parcels of land, 1.51 hectare, and we want to build a 10,000-seater stadium in Mondesa. There's no other place. And as well as a multi-purpose sports facility. That one is behind the school called Hanganeni Primary School. It will be over there. The land has been allocated. And the idea for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is that we would like to procure, as well as to assist with the pre-feed for feasibility purposes. So we've got everything aligned, and we feel we want to prompt everyone. We want to prompt everyone with a collective spirit and a collective imagination that we want to mobilize resources just to help us in the stepping stone. The next time we're going to meet, ladies and gentlemen, it will be at the groundbreaking ceremony. I want to be very firm. So it is, and also it's not just infrastructure we see in Namibia. I think one important thing is that we need to make sure that even from a community, we train the community. Something I'm learning now, especially through dealing with sports teams. If you don't have people accredited licenses and so forth, you really can't participate in the soccer world, I realize. So it's something we also need to think about in terms of equipping the social infrastructure of Mondesa to make sure the pensioners are even equipped, to make sure young people are equipped, so we can make sure that we can even host international and regional tournaments in Mondesa.
Fantastic. I mean, give the chance that Dion Hoto had at the German club in Swakopmund. Give him a chance now give that knowledge, the information, everything away to the new kids coming to get trained as proper soccer players. This soccer stadium is brilliant because we could have at the African 27. 2027 you could have had it in Swakopmund if the stadium was built in a proper way, and that attracts also thousands and thousands of people, and we're in the middle of attractions because, as I said, we are not a retirement center, we are a holiday destination, a sport destination for all kinds of sport. You can see Desert Dash, all these sports coming to Swakopmund. That is good for us, good for our economy.
Dear DH, congratulations on the remarkable vision and initiative to build a stadium in your hometown in Namibia. Your dedication to giving back to your community is truly inspiring. As a seasoned professional, you have achieved great heights on the field, and now with this project, you are making an even greater impact off the field. Your efforts will undoubtedly create lasting opportunities for aspiring athletes and foster a spirit of unity and pride in your hometown. Keep shining both as a footballer and as a beacon of hope.
The reason why we're doing all of this because we need to look for the next year motto. Okay? Because we need to look for the next year motto. And this is a facility by Namibians, for Namibians, to Namibia.
We are in the company of Namibian great, a legend in every sense of the word, Mr. Frankie Fredericks. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
Yes, you are attending the launch of the Dion Otto Foundation. What significance does this hold for us as Namibians?
No, I think, as sports people, we have been privileged. I think we have been given an opportunity to showcase our talent. And I think this is a way for us, once we've made it in life, to give back. Dion have done well with sports. Sports is looking after him. And I think he just wants to come back to the community and look after the next generation of sportsmen and sportswomen. So I think that is what we all want to do. I think I started the Frank Fredericks Foundation. I'm trying to give back. I started in 1999, basically just to say to the Namibian people, thank you for the support, and to help the less fortunate, to try and see whether we can help them. So I think, that's why I'm here, to support, and hopefully it can make a difference where I could not have made a difference.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you.
Staying on the topic of stadiums in Namibia, Ongos Valley shook the entire sporting world when they said that they plan to build a 30,000 capacity stadium right here in Windhoek. So I had to have a chat with Inocencio Verde, who is the spokesperson for Ongos Valley, on just how they are going to take this undertaking and make sure that they give us the quality that they promise. You're with Ashwin Bedi in the SPORTWRAP studio, and joining me is Mr. Inocencio Verde, who is the spokesperson for Ongos Valley as well as the MD for RTO Housing Namibia. How are you, sir?
No, I'm very well, thank you.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you so
So
much.
there's been a huge buzz around Namibia since Ongos Valley announced the stadium, and we'd all love to know what it's all about. So let's dig in. Can you elaborate on the vision behind the development of the Ongos Valley Sports Village and Stadium, and how it aligns with your broader goals for Namibia?
No, thank you so much. So when we speak of Ongos Valley vision, actually we want to be at the forefront of the African Renaissance by providing solutions that will elevate human dignity and decency through the power of ownership. That is basically our broader vision as a group of companies. And to that effect, we do not only intend to basically just build Namibia, but we like to participate across Africa. It is very important for us. It is very important that after 33, 34 years of independence, the investments that government have made to its people, students, learners, which many years ago we were, I think a government needs to recoup from that. What we also say is that I think it's enough of thinking, and it's now time for action. So this is what we're talking about. And when we look at the sports infrastructure in the country per se, you will agree with me that we are lagging behind. And given the fact that we are so big at solving for X in our mode of operation, I think the sports stadium is one that speaks to sort of, the vision of the broader group, and of course also looking at the country's vision as far as sports is concerned.
That's actually what I was going to ask you. What was the inspiration behind undertaking this huge investment? Like, what were you looking at?
What we were looking at? Well, basically, what you need to understand is that we are one of the greatest African countries, that we have. In terms of infrastructure, Namibia has done so much, that we are basically second to none in terms of Africa. If you look at the road infrastructure that we have created, I think Namibia, not I think, but it is a fact that Namibia has sort of very important road infrastructure that other countries can only emulate and wish and aspire to have. And for a long time now, when we talk of the sports infrastructure per se, what we have realized is that, look, because we are lagging behind, there is a challenge. And are we going to cry about the challenge, or are we going to assist in providing this solution to the broader country, or to the broader And so we were there, and we're saying, look, in terms of Windhoek, and mind you, when you look back, the late president, His Excellency Dr. Genkop, he did postpone the census. I think the census was delayed by a year or two, and now the preliminary results are out. And what we have seen is that Windhoek is now housing just close to 500,000 people.
Yes.
Okay, so Windhoek housing 500,000 people. We have also seen that people living on the western side of the B1, which is your A1 today, they actually form 76% of Windhoek's population.
Wow.
Now, it's a fact. We are not now...
we're not speculating.
we're not speculating anymore. So what you need to understand that it is so important that you need to understand the numbers that you're working with. If that aspect is missed, then you're going to have a problem.
Nothing works.
So census was delayed. We now picked up that this is what we have. Where are most of your sports infrastructure in the country? They're basically on the 24% side of the B1. Whereas the majority of your people are on the other side. And also what we have seen in Windhoek, if you look at just the landscape of Windhoek, for you to be able to develop some of this infrastructure, they become sort of very expensive on the side, on the eastern side of B1.
Yes.
And Windhoek, in terms of its growth, it is now focused to the northwestern corridor of the northwestern corridor of Windhoek. So that is where basically your affordable investments and infrastructure can be developed. That is basically your only...
Yes, that's your only real option.
That is the only real option, because if you look at it, if you look at Windhoek, it's surrounded by mountains. The side of Simbabasia and Prosperita, you cannot develop mega infrastructure given the aquifer that we have. So if there is any pollution that happens on that side, the repercussions are going to be severe. So your natural gradient of flow is towards the western corridor, and this is basically where Ongos Valley is situated.
Yes.
And I think given the space limitations that we also have within town, it is just economical.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense for us to build the stadium.
Tell us more then about the architecture. I understand we're looking at a 30,000 capacity stadium.
Definitely, yes. Yes. So as far as the stadium is concerned, look, we don't only plan for today. We plan for the future to come. Sustainability. So we look at 20, 30 years from now. And in terms of the architecture, the stadium is designed in such a fact that should the population grow and should there be excessive demand,
we can expand.
We can be able to expand and build onto the what you call the stands, so that we can accommodate enough people.
All right.
But the design was made in such a way that it can accommodate basically your international players.
I wanted to ask about that actually. So it's the technical facilities meet FIFA standards.
They do meet FIFA standards. But we had to look into that as well, because you cannot also make such a huge investment and still lag behind or miss some of these crucial standards that we have.
Absolutely.
So it is important that from that planning perspective, all those requirements are met.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you feel that the building of this stadium is going to contribute to the well-being of the ordinary Namibian, and also just economically? You spoke about the numbers. On one end, we're talking 24%. That means on that end, we're talking 76%. You've crunched that down. What does it mean for the ordinary Namibian?
Yeah, I think it's important for us to maybe just go step by step. So if you see the magnitude of the stadium that we envisage to build, and mind you, this stadium will be built in cohesion or in conjunction with government. It can only be.
Oh, yes.
It can only be
Collaborative.
we need to collaborate with government to have such a structure.
Yes.
What we anticipate as a very short-term employment creation that will be created over the 36 months of the construction period, we are talking next to 9,000 people to be employed during the construction.
Wow.
So you can already see the impact that it's going to have basically on the families around this particular area.
Yes.
And of course, there will be need for this number. So it is important from that point of view to say, look, if people can be economically, active, then, a lot of stress can be alleviated.
Yes, yes.
Then you can probably jump onto what impact is it going to have then to the broader country? Because we are just not looking at building, we are also looking at the sustainability of this particular infrastructure, where we envisage to have approximately more than 300 people that will be employed after it has been completed.
Wow.
So remember, we are not only building a stadium, it's a sports facility with high performance centers where we will probably have to have strategic partnership with institutions of higher learning, where all the sports management can be handled at these particular facilities.
Yes.
It's just what we are going to have now. It's from the lecture halls.
Yes.
To the field.
To the field. Wonderful. And it immediately engages the youth. It creates so much capacity for sports in Namibia.
Exactly.
And of course, I think most people are just envisioning seeing the brave warriors there.
Exactly.
Does this also become the home for the Ongos Football Club? Too soon?
Well, I will confidently tell you. In the meantime, no.
In the meantime, no.
No, we have not decided that.
For now, it's national duty.
For now, it's a national duty. We are looking at ensuring that our national pride is restored.
Yes.
We do not want to have a situation whereby our national team is playing and without supporters.
Without supporters, no, we can't do that.
We have seen it.
Yes.
We have seen it, and it's heartbreaking. Yeah. And I think, mind you, I can tell you this, Namibia is in a position to even build 5 of these particular stadiums. Wow. And at least in the short term, we can focus on building crucial 3.
Yes.
Crucial 3.
Tick those boxes.
We need to tick those boxes.
Yeah.
Because it is important that we need to bring in the international clients, international community to make use of these facilities. And I think recently we have just seen that FIFA announced now that they want to bring a change into the whole
to the rules,
the rules of playing
home and away games.
Home and
You're right.
Yes.
Essentially, FIFA said that this was Gianni Infantino, FIFA president, that clubs will now be able to play home and away games in other countries. And I think you're right. This fits perfectly into such a vision.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that is why it is important that we need to have
infrastructure
that speaks to the requirements of the national and broader community.
Yeah, and especially, it's also reflective of what we want for the Brave Warriors, which is the very best.
Exactly.
Any few words on how you feel about the potential of this stadium as we close off?
The potential, look, Namibia has got potential. The stadium has got potential because right now, we have, you know the state of the Independence Stadium. You know the state of the Sam Nujoma Stadium.
Yes.
After Ongos have announced, we now see a lot of other local authorities announcing the construction of other stadiums. And these are things that we want to encourage. But we just don't want people to invest in smaller stuff. But perhaps maybe we need to appreciate that.
Yes.
From this the participation of
all the parties of
the industry, to build this infrastructure.
Yes.
I will tell you this confidently that yes, the stadium has got serious potential. It will be used. The feasibility indicates that is correct. Remember, it's just not soccer. We are looking at netball, basketball, volleyball, netball. So we are looking at all. I think we are looking at about a crucial. About 5 sports codes that can participate.
Wow.
And some of those, rugby included.
Yes, of course.
Rugby included.
Yes.
So what can we say?
Infinite potential, infinite possibilities.
We have a lot of possibilities for that.
Has construction started?
Not yet.
When does construction start?
So we are sort of finalizing some requirements now. We are still finalizing with government. We hope in the next between 3 and 5 weeks, we should have an answer.
And from there, we're looking at 36
and then
months.
From the breakground,
yes,
breaking ground,
yes,
of the stadium, 36 months.
36 months.
Yes,
I love it. Thank you very much. All right. So that was Mr. Inocencio Verde, who is the spokesperson for Ongos Valley, giving us the update on the stadium that they are building. Not for them, not for me, for Namibia.
Thank you.
All right, we certainly hope that that comes into fruition. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on that, as Namibian football fans would love to see the boys play at home. Speaking of the boys, the Brave Warriors COSAFA Cup is around the corner. The first game is going to be next week. Namibia's first match in the upcoming COSAFA Cup will be against northern neighbors Angola on 28 June in Gqeberha, South Africa. This was confirmed after COSAFA recently released the fixtures following a draw that took place. The Brave Warriors will be in Group C with Angola, Seychelles and Lesotho. Only the group winners are guaranteed a place in the semi-final, while the best runner-up out of the 3 groups also guaranteed a place in the last 4. Namibia, who won the tournament once before, will be seeking to avenge their 2024 Africa Cup of Nations defeat in the round 16 at the hands of Angola. The Brave Warriors will be hoping to go further in a competition they won in 2015. Namibia, however, face a daunting task as history favors the Angolans. Colin Benjamin's team will be hoping to put an end to their 30-year winless record against the neighbors. The two teams have met 13 times ever since their first fixture in 1994, and Angola has come out victorious on 7 occasions. However, Namibia has managed 6 draws against Angola. Certainly looking forward to that clash on the 28th. Action. Brave Warriors hoping to get it done for Namibia. Staying with national teams, it's around the corner. That big game, Valviches versus Blue Bulls, is on next weekend. That is on the 29th of June. I'm going to be at the stadium. I'll let you guess what I'll be doing at the stadium. Hint, hint, we will see each other without a doubt. The days are counting down before the battle against the Vodacom Blue Bulls. The extensive loss of experience should be of concern in reduced national Valviches training group. Now, with options, Coach Alistair Katsia's that he has at his disposal, it has already been hinted that the emphasis will largely fall on locally based players and that relatively few of the country's overseas contracted players will be available for the Bulls match as well as for the test against Portugal on the 13th of July. And as you can see, that's where you can get your tickets. eticket.my.na, 29 June 2024 at 3 p.m. That is that game, Valviches versus Blue Bulls, as we prepare for our next game, which will also be against Portugal. Now that is one not to miss. Both of them are games that you can't miss. Bring the yes, as we love to say. Now, I'm an adult, and I'm assuming quite a few people who are watching are adults. But however, I'm a millennial adult, which means that gaming is very much a part of my life. I love gaming. But there are people who I must admit will always be better than me at gaming, and that is high schoolers. And My Zone has something just for you.
My Zone presents My Zone Schools Esports Competition.
Still possibilities. Round 1, 3, 2, 1. We have 30 minutes to go. Caution. Yeah, no surprise there. That was always going to be a booking.
From deep three-point range, Green with the...
Join us on the 27th of July at the MTC Innovation Hub for an action-packed day of esports excitement.
27 July, all gamers unite. Speaking of gamers, you might be playing on the 27th of July, but you might also be hoping to make a career from gaming. Guess what? Namibia actually has an esports team which competes internationally. And one of those gamers is one of my personal friends, Freddie. Yeah, he's my friend, which means I lose to him all the time. Brian had a chat with him on Athletes World, Namibia's very own esports gamer, Freddie.
Well, for this one, it's definitely a different one. We are at the MTC Innovation Center, and I'm pretty excited for this one because I am joined by the one, the only, Freddie. Freddie, before we go on, I don't want to call you by your real name. So I'm as a gamer, not necessarily a gamer, but as a gamer, what do you go by?
I go by the name of Zabskop.
Zabskop.
Yeah,
that's the name on the shirt.
Yeah, that's the name on the shirt. Yeah.
Before people claim you or call you a gamer, please tell our viewers exactly what you are or who you are.
What the right terminology
What the right terminology is.
Yeah, the right terminology is esports athlete.
Esports athlete. Okay, okay. That sounds more, it has like a nice ring to it instead of me being like, you're a gamer.
You're a gamer.
You know, I think, we all had, I think I had my own phase where growing up I used to play a lot of games. I mean, I think for all of us, it all started with TV game, with the cartridges, and then, back in the day, then we got to the phones, then we got there. But for you personally, when did the journey start?
The journey actually really started when I was, I can't even remember the age, I won't even lie. But the journey started when I was actually very young.
Yeah.
We recently moved from Swakop to Hardap.
Okay.
And all we had in our living room was literally just a normal wooden table.
Okay.
Two wooden chairs or plastic chairs.
Okay.
And a TV.
This is now from Swakop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's now the PlayStation and the PlayStation 1. And from there, that's how the journey just started. That's how it kept on growing. But then I was just a gamer.
Okay.
and then my passion grew, and I kept on playing. I kept on growing. I kept on becoming better. And then what actually made me reach the career that I am in right now was a complete accident. It was for a game that I at that point didn't like.
Okay.
I found it very annoying, and then I saw it on a Nessa page.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it on the Nessa page on Facebook, and it was like, come play Tekken and have the opportunity to win money and all of that. So I thought okay, let me quickly go. Let me
see what we are.
But
at that point, did you know you were good already, or were you trying to see yourself compete against other people to see now where you actually stand?
At that point, I thought I was good.
Yeah, but sometimes...
like I said, I thought I was good.
Okay.
But then when I went to go compete to see if I am that good, and then I realized I am partially that good.
You're almost there where you want to be, or
yeah, I'm almost there where I want to be.
Rated yourself,
yeah, in Namibia.
Okay.
But when we went overseas...
Different ball game.
Completely different ball game.
Different ball game.
I wasn't ready.
Okay.
I wasn't ready.
So when was your first time playing outside of Namibia?
The first time playing.
And how was that?
First time was 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first time I actually took a plane. First time leaving the country overseas. Oh.
How was that? How was the experience in itself?
The experience in itself was amazing. It was something new. It was something fresh. You know that thing where they say the air smells better on the other side.
I've heard that statement before. It smells better or smells different, or it's something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. So that was completely different. And so now thinking, because I was the best in Namibia, I thought I stand a chance to take any of these other people in the competition.
Take them on, yeah.
Yeah, no. That was my most humbling experience. That was my most humbling experience. Yeah, that was my most humbling experience, because I got
utterly destroyed.
Which means like you were exposed to a different ball game. Like these guys came out with things you've never seen before.
They came out with things I've never seen before. They don't even say square or triangle. They say 1 and 2. So they will say 1 and 2 is maybe plus on block or is maybe minus 16 on block, and they were reading frame data and all of that. And I was what is going on? What is 2? What is 1? What is?
And you're just here trying to play the game.
I'm just trying to play the game.
Yeah. Okay, but fast forwarding from 2017 to now, speaking of achievements that the games have brought you, I mean, people sometimes look at playing games, or it's not something that can actually fund you, that you can live off. But you that has traveled the world, that has played everywhere, what has the game brought you? What has the game brought to you?
Well, the game has brought me a vast amount of opportunities.
Okay.
It has opened my eyes to learning different cultures, learning from other people, learning what I can bring back to our country, so that I can teach. So that I can teach our people, so that I can teach. I don't even know.
teach the youth, teach people want to get into the game. Yeah?
There we go. Yeah. So it is extremely beneficial, to be honest, because keep in mind, right now we're still struggling a little bit, but I'm pretty sure there will be a day that when we go to the World Champions, that we are going to win. Like there was actually a time that I believe it was the CSGO. Yes, it was the CSGO girls last year in Bali. Yes, the CSGO girls last year in Bali won $5,000. So they're a team of 5. So that means each of them got $1,000 US. Yeah, $1,000 US. Yeah.
If that's me doing the math off the top of my head, that's around 18, 19.
Yeah. It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it actually shows that the game does pay. You can actually make a living off it.
You can actually, yeah.
Okay. Well, just because we don't have a lot of time, one of my questions was going to be, before I let you leave, is what message do you have for the youth that's out there? I mean, we have the My Zone and the NISA campaign that's coming up, Let's Play Together, that we have going on. So you kids should stay tuned for that. But a message that you have for the youth who will be taking part in that competition, who want to pursue a career in gaming, what words of encouragement do you have for them?
I would say that that no matter your circumstances, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're going through, despite your circumstances, just keep pushing, keep going. If you take a loss, don't be the person that actually gives up. Rather learn from your mistakes. Keep pushing. Keep becoming better. Don't let anybody else try and stop you from doing what you want to do. Don't let them try and bully you into submission. Just keep going. Keep pushing. I can safely say I am a living testament to that.
Yeah. Okay, but people don't really know where you've been playing. Just run us through a few places off the top of your head where you've participated in what type of competitions. Just so you guys know who Freddy is, because I still feel like they don't know.
All right, so I've been to 6 IESF World Championships.
6 ASF World Championships. Okay.
Yes, 6 of them. One was in Bali. Last year was in Bali, which is the shirt that I'm wearing.
Okay.
Last year was in Bali. This year was in Romania. The year before that was in Israel. The year before that was in South Korea.
Yeah.
The year before that was in Taiwan. And then the first time was in South Korea.
South Korea.
Yeah.
I saw you in Egypt somewhere, so you went in Egypt.
No.
Okay.
But one of my other gamer friends must have been there, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually travel, so it gives you a great opportunity to also venture around and see the world, and also, let's be straight, just tell our parents and say, hey, look, he did that, exactly. I can do that too, so it's not a waste of time.
It's not a waste.
All right, from games you can play in the comfort of your home to games that you absolutely need to step outside for. We are swinging back to football news, and there's some big news with regards to AFCON 2025. It will be held in December 2025 and January 2026, while the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations has been postponed until July next year. The Confederation of African Football has announced the 2025 AFCON to be hosted by Morocco beginning 21 December, and the final will be on the 18th of January. The scheduling will see the 24-team finals overlap with the Premier League's festive program and take place between match rounds in the UEFA Champions League. It will be the first time in Nations Cup history that the tournament will kick off in December and run over the Christmas year period. The 2024 AFCON, also said to be held in Morocco, will take place between 5 and 26 July next year. Let's get some words from President Patrice Motsepe.
So the decision that was taken today was in the context of all of those countries withdrawing and the discussions, and to focus on African unity and African development and growth. So the AFCON 2025 is going to be hosted by Morocco. Can we clap hands for Morocco, please?
All right, we are certainly excited for that AFCON, without a doubt. But something that is happening right now is the Euro 2024, and my goodness, has it been a tournament. Let's go through some of the recent results, which, a little underwhelming. Netherlands and France played to a 0-0 game yet again. Well, not yet again, last night. They got down to it, but could not manage to find the net. Austria knocking out Poland. Yes, the Polish are on their way home. Austria 3-1 in that dominating performance. That was that result. And Slovakia lost to Ukraine. The Ukrainians playing for much more than football right now. The joy, the ecstasy, palpable. Let's see if they can keep it going in the Euro 2024. And Georgia and Czechia drew 1-1 today in another toughly contested game. The goals were just one behind the other, and unfortunately no one managing to surge ahead in that one. Turkey and Portugal are also going to be playing tonight. Now, we've been watching the Euro 2024 for just over a week, and for me, that's just been enough time for me to just decide on a list. And this list is who I've observed to be the top 5 performers in Euro 2024. You are free to disagree with me. Get into the comments, type, say what you need to say. But these are my top 5 players thus far. These are the most impactful players in the tournament, according to me. This is my opinion. And I'm going to go from number 5 to number 1. At number 5, Cristiano Ronaldo. That 6 euros is about how many times he's been at the Euros. That is not how much he costs. I promise you, it's way more than that. The man is back without a doubt, dominating the forward area of Portugal, making sure that he ushers the game his way. The athleticism is absolutely still there. He is still Cristiano Ronaldo, an absolute danger on attack. And the best thing that he's managed to do is know how to draw attention in order to distribute the ball. The Cristiano we're seeing right now might be a little reminiscent of Lionel Messi at the last World Cup. We'll see if that works out for Portugal. At number 4, Bukayo Saka of England, without a doubt the most impactful player on that squad. The English media might decide otherwise. He's been playing very, very well alongside Harry Kane. Of course, England itself is struggling. Coach Southgate coming under fire for his selections. I mean, in the last game, he took out Bukayo Saka, Harry Kane, and Foden, Premier League Player of the Year, in one swipe. And that game did not end well. It was never going to end well because England had already lost domination of that game in the 35th minute against Denmark. However, Bukayo Saka has been absolutely impactful from game 1, and perhaps he can find the back of the net as the competition continues. Next up, Lamine Yamal, 16 years old, youngest ever to play at the Euro 2024. His impact is crazy to behold. His pace is insane. His football IQ is something to behold. One only hopes that his teammates can display a little more faith in him. He doesn't get the ball in opportune times often enough, but he's definitely proven to be a problem. He is every single defense's focus when he is on the field, and I'm excited to see what he has in this tournament as it continues. Number 2 There he is, that man Musiala. I see that celebration right there with the three. That celebration is from NBA Carmelo Anthony. Musiala said it himself. He scored 2 goals in the tournament and there have been crackers. He is absolutely Germany's talking piece right now. He is German. Most people will say Germany can live and die by Musiala. Of course, Germany has got so much quality around. It is incredible that someone can even stand out in such a manner. But Musiala looks like he is taking over the Euro 2024, and that golden boot may very well be his. And number one most impactful player thus far is the one, the only N'Golo Kante. You see what he's holding there? That's player of the match. He's already had 2 at this Euro 2024. Last night against Netherlands, and in the previous France game, he has been a ghost. Wherever the ball, he is absolutely dominant. His physicality, his football IQ, something you cannot ignore. In fact, something you absolutely have to pay attention to. So those have been my top 5 most impactful players at Euro 2024 thus far, and I would love to know yours. Now, let's talk about some tennis. Yes, former world number 1 Andy Murray says that retiring either at the Summer Paris Olympics or the 2024 Wimbledon Championships would be a fitting end to his career. Here he is in his own words.
I would hope, probably if I was going to finish my career, would rather finish, at Wimbledon or at an Olympic Games. To me would be probably more, more fitting. Like I said, I've had amazing experiences and memories from Wimbledon, but also, being part of, British Olympic teams, and to get the chance to be involved in a 5th one, is a reason to stay motivated and continue playing. And like I said, a lot of it is based on results and physically how I'm feeling as well. There's lots of things that factor into retiring from sport. Like I think in lots of careers, like retirement is you celebrate that. People really look forward to that day. That's not something I feel. Like I love playing tennis, but ultimately, if physically you're not able to play to the level you want to, or your results are not as you wish, that is, those things factor into the decisions. So I'll see a little bit how the next few weeks go and see what happens.
Eye contact all the way, sir. Lovely.
Yeah, obviously there's more chance of me winning a medal in the doubles than in the singles, and that's why I didn't know for sure if me and Dan would get selected. There was other potential teams that might play, but glad we got selected. And the Olympics has been amazing over my career. I've loved everyone that I've been involved in. The results on the court have varied, from Beijing losing in the first round to winning, gold medals and stuff. But pumped to be part of it again, and looking forward to it.
Medals up. Perfect. And right into.
All right, now Kenya has its very first junior Grand Slam champion, Angela Ukotoyi, who booked her place in the Paris Olympics. However, her Olympic dreams, so she's in the tennis team, but the Olympic dreams still hang in the balance. Christy Kilburn of Reuters reports.
Meet Angela Okutoyi. She's the first Black African to win a junior Grand Slam, and now she's eyeing a bigger dream, competing at the Olympics for her country, Kenya. Her win at this match, called the Billie Jean Cup, has put her a step closer to that goal, as it secures her a spot on Kenya's Olympic tennis team.
I just want to see myself playing in the bigger stages now, in the big Grand Slams, and I feel like I'm headed in the right direction as of now.
But Okutoyi's Olympic dream hangs in limbo. Her international ranking is currently 502nd in the world, and she needs to be in the top 400 to compete. However, Tennis Kenya's Secretary General, Wanjiru Mbaguya, says they have petitioned the International Tennis Federation to consider allowing her to compete. They argue that Okutoi only had 2 months to prepare and train after the African Games were delayed.
So we are hoping that they will consider this as something to support Africa and to make sure that African players are represented at the Olympics.
Okutoi spent her childhood in an orphanage with her twin sister, Rosalita Asamwa. Despite their difficulties, the sisters found solace and purpose in tennis. Her coach, Francis Ragoy, has been with her through her journey, from the orphanage to a rising tennis star.
Most of the people who don't know the name think she's there where she is by chance. But I can tell you it's an everyday affair. It was about 7 to 9 years of working, week in and week out, and then this is what we have. Crossing fingers that Angela Okutoi will make to Olympics. If she makes to Olympics, I actually have a visa already, and I'll be there with her.
All right, we are obviously looking forward to the Olympics. However, different reports have been coming out throughout the week. It's still a positive event, but there have been some reassurances needing to be made. For example, the International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach said he's not concerned about the parliamentary elections, which will be happening at the same time. But something a little bit disheartening as well with regards to Olympics is that faith in a level playing field at international competitions was shaken by reports that Chinese swimmers had tested positive for banned substances. This was at the Tokyo Olympics. Now, speaking on the issue, U.S. Team Olympic swimmers Lily King and Cody Miller, as well as coach Todd DeZorbo.
I was briefly on the article that dropped 10 minutes ago. So yeah, it's extremely frustrating, I think, for the athletes just to always have in the back of our mind that maybe this sport's not fair. When we put everything on the line, our privacy, really everything that we do to compete with a level playing field, it's extremely frustrating to not have faith that others are doing the same thing. But those thoughts are always in the back of my mind.
But it's just really disappointing, and I think it's just frustrating for all the athletes that, do go through the process of dealing with.
All right, it is Spanish Grand Prix weekend. And here is our very own Irene Marie van der Voort with the latest Formula One update.
It is Spanish Grand Prix weekend, and while a lot of people were hoping that Carlos Sainz would make a public announcement on the way forward and his career forward in Formula One at his home Grand Prix, it seems that that will not be the case. Sainz, in a press conference earlier or just before the weekend, said that he will announce the way forward soon. He's got a couple options on the table. We've discussed Williams, we've discussed Sauber, we've discussed potentially Alpine within the Formula One community. So he's got a number of options on the table, but fans likely will not know about it this weekend. Sainz said that he is trying to focus on the here and the now. He says that for a very, very short portion of his 10-year span within Formula One, he now has a race-winning car, and he tends to focus on that rather than focusing on his future. So Carlos Sainz, fun fact, at his home race at Catalonia, he has scored points in all 9 of his appearances at Catalonia. That's certainly something that he'll hope to continue forward, and the hope remains that he may end up on the podium at the end of this race. That'll certainly help his contract talks just a little bit. So the big news in Formula One currently is Alpine hiring Flavio Briatore to be an executive advisor to the team. So if you hear the name Flavio Briatore and you don't exactly know who he is, but you know the name, Flavio Briatore does have a history in Formula One. He also, a couple of years back, earned himself a lifetime ban from Formula One, but that has since been reversed. He was a team principal in the 90s and in the noughties, so he was very closely involved. He worked with Michael Schumacher, won a championship with Michael Schumacher, and his claim to fame, shall we say, is known as Crashgate. So that is the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, when Fernando Alonso and Nelson Piquet Jr. were both driving for Renault at the time. Felipe Massa was leading the pack for that race. He ended up losing the championship to Lewis Hamilton that year with 1 point. So during the Singapore Grand Prix, the allegations came from Nelson Piquet Jr. And Briatore later confessed to it, saying that Renault ordered Nelson Piquet Jr. to crash. The reason why is because they had Fernando Alonso on a very, very interesting strategy. So they would put, this was in the days when refueling was still allowed in a race in Formula One. So they would put a little bit of fuel in Fernando Alonso's car, and obviously because the car now doesn't have that extra weight of all that fuel, it goes faster. And then they had to do multiple pit stops so that they could keep refueling, so that the car could keep going through the race, and eventually they ordered Nelson Piquet Jr. to crash. Fernando Alonso had already done a pit stop, and they ordered him to crash, which would bring out the safety car, which means Fernando Alonso, not having to go into the pits, went straight to the front of the pack. Felipe Massa came out in 13th, he ended in 13th in that race, and obviously did not win the race. So there is currently a lawsuit ongoing from Felipe Massa. He is suing, saying that he should have been the Formula One world champion in 2008, given that he only lost by 1 point to Lewis Hamilton. And he believes that had he, finished the Singapore Grand Prix as it was, had Nelson Piquet Jr. not crashed on the orders of his team, that he would have won the Singapore Grand Prix and earned the extra points that he needed to surpass Lewis Hamilton and eventually take the championship. But that's all bygones to a lot of Formula One teams, and there's
All right, the action is not over. Just now we're going to be looking at the rugby of the day, some wrestling updates, some golf updates, everything you need in the wrap-up show. From me, Ashton Berry. See you on the other side.